Hi Detoxers, today I am going to introduce you to one of my favorite worlds, which is the world of elixirs. So if you are new to this program or you have never heard about elixirs, this is one of those things I find people are very slow to adapt into the program. And I am going to encourage you to step it up quickly, because if you're not doing elixirs, you might be missing out on one of your favorite new ways to nourish and satisfy yourself. So let me tell you a little bit about what an elixir is. So there are lattes and there's coffee drinks and there's teas and all those things. Those are not elixirs. An elixir has a medicinal component by definition, meaning that there is some sort of therapeutic component to the actual drink that you're making with an elixir. So for example, it could be made out of turmeric powder, or it could be using a type of medicinal mushroom like a reishi mushroom or chaga, or you could be using a blend like I'm going to use today, Dandy Blend, which is made from chicory root and dandelion. And these things, depending on what you're talking about, have a therapeutic effect on the body. Either they lower your cortisol, which is the stress hormone, or they help flush out and detoxify your liver, or that they help brain and cognitive function. It depends on what it is that you're adding. But what I like about it is when we make elixirs, not only do we get the therapeutic effect, but we also help ourselves nourish ourselves in a way that is low sugar and whole food. There is always a good supply of healthy fat in these drinks. Oftentimes I will create a way for us to get some sort of healthy form of protein. They become balanced, they're hydrating, and they are a great way to, get rid of cravings or have something else to drink or do in the evening when you used to eat something that you do no longer want to eat in this program. So that's what I love about us. They also help us become very fat adapted. So fat adaptation is something I'm talking about in this low sugar detox, because learning how to stop burning sugar as your primary source of fuel and energy and start to train your body to utilize fat is a much healthier version for your body. It lowers your inflammation, it helps brain health, it does all sorts of things that is a much higher level of health expression. So teaching your body to get off of the sugar and teaching your body to be able to burn your fat is fantastic. And you hear people talk about that a lot. This is not a ketogenic diet in any way, but it definitely is a fat adaptation diet or way of eating and nourishing yourself. All right, so that's what it is. I'm going to tell you about some of my favorite elixirs. When you look in our actual sugar detox program, you'll see that there's quite a few elixir recipes in here. You also get them within the emails that you get from week to week, now and again, and I talk about them, and you'll often see me in almost every Instagram photo with either some sort of bulletproof or buttered coffee or one of these elixirs I'm going to make today. So, couple of my favorites. There is a company called Four Sigmatic that has a variety of different mushroom-based elixirs. What's nice about them is that they come in single packet servings, which is fantastic. Each one has a different effect. So for example, let me just tell you about this one. This is reishi. It's a mushroom elixir. Reishi is fantastic for putting your body into a parasympathetic mode, which really means it's like taking your foot off the gas pedal and putting it on the brake pedal. This is the way that we stop increasing our cortisol, our stress hormone, start to dial down our response, taking it out of the fight or flight mode, and start to turn on where our growth and healing happens. This is actually one of the elixirs, or one of the bases that I use in my elixirs, especially in the evening. I think that you cannot have too much reishi. It is that powerful for you. You can actually find all of these mushroom elixir components in supplement form in your health food store. What I like is, I'm not big on taking a massive amount of supplements, but I really love incorporating them into my lifestyle. So lion's mane is really great for supporting your brain health. They actually have chaga and cordyceps, which are more based on energy and getting your body to respond to that. And if you are somebody who doesn't want to have coffee, doesn't agree with coffee, wants coffee out of your diet, or never drank it in the first place, then chaga and cordyceps are also a great option for you. Now, just as sort of an aside, because I'm standing here talking about it, I will also tell you that Four Sigmatic has a mushroom coffee. So they add in a little bit of coffee with lion's mane and chaga in this example here. So if you're someone who does drink coffee, has no interest in getting off coffee, but kind of wants to upgrade their coffee experience, this would be an option for you. This is another option right here. My kids love this one. It's a mushroom hot cacao mix by Four Sigmatic as well. This one has reishi in it. Very, very little sugar in here. So I have adapted my own version of almost like a hot cocoa that my kids have. So that's an option for you as well. Turmeric lattes. I am obsessed with them. I love them. I'm certain you will see me talk about them more in the sugar detox. You can use turmeric powder as your base. Turmeric powder is exceptionally healthy for you, very, very, very anti-inflammatory. It also has really good, again, for decreasing cortisol. If you have not turned yourself on to the idea that eating a very anti-inflammatory lifestyle or diet rather is exceptionally healthy for you, follow that. Lots of great information out there, and it's really the key to stimulating your own health and healing is to decrease the overall inflammation in your body. Turmeric powder is great for it. This is one of the primary components in most curry powders, so you can put it within your cooking. It's a bit, how do I say, defined taste. I always put a little sweetener in my turmeric elixirs, whereas in other ones I don't tend to. I'm gonna show you this product. I love this. This is by Botanica. It is a turmeric golden milk powder, which means that it has a turmeric in it, but it also has a few other things. So this is great if you're trying to move towards that. I think you'll probably find this one's really great as using as base. Okay, so we've got all the mushroom extracts. I can't forget this one. This is the one I'm gonna show you today. This is also in your recipe book, Dandy Blend. Dandy Blend is not a coffee substitute. You often find it in the coffee section. Why people sometimes use it as a coffee substitute is not because it tastes like coffee, but it is dark brown like coffee, and it's hot like coffee, and it's a little bit thick like coffee can sort of be. So I love it. It's also quite good for you. It's made out of dandelion root and chicory, and so it is like a liver tonic. It helps kind of flush out your liver, which is definitely not what coffee does. So Dandy Blend is a great option for you as well. So this is what I'm gonna use today, and I'm gonna show you. So you start with whatever component therapeutic elixir you want, and you start building from there. So I have just gone ahead and boiled some water, and now I'm gonna start to build this. If I am using different amounts than I used in the recipe, just know that I eyeball all my elixirs. Just follow the recipe. This is how I'm gonna make it. So in this case, I'm gonna take kind of like a small tablespoon of Dandy Blend. And I'm gonna start to build some fat around it. So you wanna have the fat in it because it makes it thick and creamy, and it's part of this component of us wanting to stabilize our blood sugar. So when you add fat and you add healthy protein to something, then it starts to build a drink that actually will have some staying power for you. So you can play with these. Some people prefer some fat over the other. I will use grass-fed butter because I tolerate dairy fine. I'll also use cacao butter, and it comes like this, so you can use kind of whatever amount you want. And I quite often use coconut oil. Coconut oil is a medium chain triglyceride. It's a nice stable fat, and it's easily digestible for your body. If you don't like the taste of coconut, just recognize that different coconut oils are more coconut-y or less coconut flavored. This one's pretty mild. It's by St. Francis. I really like it. It's pretty delicious. So I always want to choose a raw, unrefined, organic coconut oil, and that's the one I'm using. So now I've got a couple sources of fat in there, and then I start adding accoutrements. I say it because I love to either add things like often cinnamon powder, Ceylon cinnamon, or I'll use raw cacao powder, which has antioxidants in it, which will give it more of kind of a chocolatey flavor. In this case, now that I think about it, it's Dandy Blend, so I'm probably not, but I will tell you that I quite often use it with my turmeric. So I'm gonna put a little bit of cinnamon in it. Cinnamon's great for stabilizing blood sugar as well. And then I'm gonna move towards my protein source. So this is just a simple recipe. Recognize that you can vary the ingredients depending on what you have. So if you don't have one thing, just substitute it for something else. And I love this. So there's a few different brands, but collagen protein is one of my favorite things to put in hot drinks. because it's unflavored and it completely dissolves and you have no idea that you put it in there, and yet you're getting a very good source of protein collagen. And this one here is one that you can get in the States. You can get it in Canada, it's a little bit more expensive. It's by Vital Proteins. They have other forms of it that are really great to get it from grass-fed. So I think there's a bulletproof one. You can also get one from a company called Great Lakes. Those are great options as well. All right, so those are the proteins that you use. Other options for you, I love this company, Genuine Health has a vegan protein. This one I'm showing you actually is coconut flavored, but I would get the vanilla one or the unsweetened. So if you would prefer to have this is what I'll often use in my smoothies. Both of these are quite interchangeable, but I find in my hot drinks that I prefer to use collagen protein more than anything else. So now I have my elixir actual component in there. I have my healthy fat. I'm putting in a source of protein. I put in a few extra flavors. In this case, I'm using cinnamon. You could use ground nutmeg as well, or vanilla. And now you have to decide on what you're going to use as your liquid. So earlier today I had made some homemade cashew milk. I could heat this up on the stove and go ahead and put it in here, but quite often I just use boiling water. I've done this so many times, I kind of know how much boiling water is for 1 mug. Now, sweeteners. Do you put sweeteners or don't you put sweeteners? Totally up to you. As you know, the Sugar Detox is not a no sugar program, it's a low sugar program. And you are wanting to stay at 40 grams of sugar per day or less. So there is room for you to be able to put a little bit of sweetener in your elixirs. If you absolutely hate them without having any sweetener, then you should put a little bit of sweetener. You'll find as you go through the program and your body starts to attune to sweetness because you don't have so much of it, you'll require less. So the sweeteners I would probably go towards if I was going to make a recommendation would probably be like an unpasteurized honey, or I would use a maple syrup. And make sure that you always measure, because I've found when I am just eyeballing sweeteners, I put in a lot more than I think. So that would be my recommendation around that. In this today, I'm not going to put any sweetener in it. And any blender will do, you just really want to mix the components. That's it. I will actually often put this in a thermos and take this to work as well. So this is my afternoon or evening pick-me-up. I'll often use this or drink this first thing in the morning or after a workout. It's like a big giant hug in a mug. All right, so let me know what you think. Try out some of the actual elixirs that we have in the program and start incorporating them into your low sugar whole food lifestyle.